Okay, this is Mark coming to you from Baker's Green Acres. Today's the 19th, and this is my second time making this video. I just made a whole 10-minute video, and I didn't have the microphone hooked up, so I got to do it again. Lately here, we've been talking about our rights in farming, and we've been talking about, or I have been talking about, this latest operation that the Department of Ag is running against me. And we've pretty well determined that last time this happened, they cast a broad net and we got caught in it. But this time it's very focused, right? And so we know that they are running an operation and they have an agenda. Okay, we know that at this point. And I've been talking about that a little to you all, and I must say that because of what happened last time, seems like the same cadre of people have come back into the picture, and I asked you to share a video, and you did. And it's got like 110 shares out of this morning in a week, and I appreciate that. And that's what it takes, it takes teamwork. We are Legion out here, and we're talking about a very small group of individuals that work for this department, or this corporation, really. And they are not necessarily bound to the same laws that we are, and more to come on that. But I promise you, the sword cuts both ways. The sword cuts both ways. Okay, and that's enough about that for today. The information that's out there is enough, and it is simmering, and it is going to go its own way. But, we still have a farm to run here, and I still have a life to live and children to raise and all that stuff. So what I'm going to talk about today is a situation that a lot of you run into and kind of wonder, well, what are you going to do? And this has to do with the vertically integrating part of a farm like ours. And this comes into play in homesteading too. And let's see if I can put this in perspective. Okay, we have probably 5 different species of animals that are here, that we raise, that they work for us, we work for them. We sell some of them for money. We butcher some of them for our own table and things like that. We trade some of them. So it's a crop that we have, animals. One of them is Great Pyrenees dogs. Now, we don't eat them. But we do trade them. And the reason we have Great Pyrenees dogs is because I have so many chickens out on the field, and then sometimes we have, young animals, piglets and things like that. And when you have that, you can very easily have, I got a hair there. You can very easily have predators that will come and take from your operation. And so you have to guard your operation. And that's what a guardian dog is all about. That's why they're so important. So you could sit up on the hill and shoot them down when they come, but it's better to mount a solid defense, a guardian, right? Overwatch. You're watching over the predators, and they know it. They know they're being watched, right? So that's the importance of the guardian dog. In order to keep big dogs like that, they have to be fed. And, we have a butcher shop, so in the summertime, we're butchering chickens. We have heads and feet and stuff like that, and the dogs do very well on that. These guardian dogs will take them and they'll bury them, actually, and then they'll dig them back up when they're marinated. But that's how they live. And so we buy very little dog food. One of our dogs just had puppies, so my wife had to get her dog food because she couldn't go out and do her thing. And it was $40 for a 30-pound bag of dog food. She bought the good stuff. So you can see how that would add up, and they can go through that in a week. So just to have a few big dogs, that's a lot of money. That would add up in a year's time. Now, you guys that don't have homestead operations or farming operations, I pity you. Maybe you should just have poodles, or maybe you should do business with somebody that does have a farming operation like this, because dog food is something that presents itself quite a bit. Okay, so today I have a boar. A boar is a male pig who is intact. That means he has not been castrated, right? And the reason we have those is we use them as breed stock for our sows, which are females. So they have to have their equipment to get the job done. So the boar that I have, his name is Little. Those of you that follow my channel have seen him from the time he was little. My kids named him. That goes back a ways. I'm not sure how many years, but it's a ways. And he's pretty big now. He's like 450 pounds. And he's half Mangalitsa and half large black. But he grew like crazy. And that is one of the reasons why we switched over to the half and half. Because we have a rate of growth that's better, but we still have about the same carcass as the Mangalitsa. So, but he's too big now for the sows that I have. And I have enough of his blood in my herd that I want to start taking it out. I want to go back to just the pure Mangalitsa. So what do you do with him? What do you do with a 450-pound, guy that's, he's not friendly, and he's got big tusks on him, and we leave him alone because he could do some damage to somebody. So what do you do with him? I can't give him to anybody. He's not exactly friendly, I'm not going to sell him. I'm not going to take him to the stockyard. That would be cruel to him. And then the whole hunting ranch thing, I'm not into that. I'm just not into that. Somebody would make a trophy out of it and mount it and say that they're a big man shooting him. But he will make excellent dog food. Now, you may be asking, well, why don't you just process them for food? Well, boars have taint, they call, and it's kind of a urine-y smell. If you've ever put a campfire out before, you would know what that smell is. And we don't like it. Some people say, oh, I don't even notice it, but we notice it, and so we're not into it, and we're not going to pass it on to our customers. So what we'll do today is we will butcher him, and we'll get him bagged up. A lot of his fat we'll render down and use it for something else. So this will be kind of a two-part video. I'll come back when I have him hanging up here so you can see what that looks like. I'll probably get him skinned out first before I come back to you in a video. This is 10 minutes. And one thing I want to go through is, the method of putting him down. Now, I don't talk about this because when we're butchering, feeder animals, we always use a 22. This is a 22 bullet. So we do 99% of our animals with the 22. And what this does is, right between the eyes, and it's right into their brain, and it knocks them down instantly. The downside of the 22 is it doesn't have a whole lot of power to it. And on a really big animal, they could have a really thick frontal plate. And if you don't hit it on the right angle, you could deflect off. And what I mean by that is, let's say that this is their skull that's facing you right here. If you hit this on a right angle, you're going to transfer all the energy right to that skull and you'll stun him. If you hit it on a glancing angle like that, like let's say he lifts his head at the last second, it could glance off and the energy won't go into the animal and it won't stun him, all right? And the reason we use a small one like this, some people say, why don't you just use an 0.6? Well, because this does very little damage. It goes in and stops in the brain, so very little damage. If you use a 30-06, let's say, I don't have one of them available, but it's a hunting round, it'll go clean through them. I mean, it'll go through a telephone pole, so it's not going to stop in a big pig's head. It just won't. So it could come out of his jowl, come out of his throat, and it could make a mess. And we want to control how he dies, too. We don't want to kill him with this gun. We want to just stun him. So today we're going to use a 30 caliber M1 carbine, right? And I have the rifle right here. I will not hold that rifle up because that would make a perfect photo op. But I'm not going to do that. It's a military surplus that I've had for about 30 years. And it's a good all-around firearm. I mean, it's not so high-powered that it's going to blow right through him. It might, but I'm not so concerned because this butchering is for our dogs, right? Okay, so I'll be back to you. Anyone can farm.